going to be a Tea Party candidate, you've got to know it, you've got to love it, you've got to live up to the ideals of the Constitution, of the Declaration, and of the founding. Now, what happened to me was not only after Rick Santelli's rant on the floor of the Chicago Business Exchange that I go down to participate in tea parties in front of the White House and in front of my state capitol, like many of you all did. But along came an event called the Healthcare Town Hall. And my senator, Ben Cardin, held the first one. And as I got into the room and I started listening to them tell me how great this healthcare bill was going to be, I listened to two black doctors stand in front of an all-black audience and tell them how they got into medicine to help people because they didn't want to make any money doing what they did. They wanted the government to pay them for their job. And I didn't understand. And as I looked around, I also saw one Republican I knew, and he was clapping, and so were all the Democrats. I said, am I alone? So when the time for questioning came up, I got up, and I asked my question. And I told Senator Cardin about how I had gone through a time when I lost my job, and I had to take a lower paying job, and then when given my choice to get my health benefits, I said, well, that $100 or $200 a month I would be paying for those health benefits, I could be using to pay my rent, I could be using to pay my bills, I could be using to help my family. So why are you going to tell me what to do with my money? That I've got to buy health care, or are you going to fine me? And not only did I get applause in that room, but I got mentioned by Rush Limbaugh, and I got mentioned by Neil Caputo, and I got mentioned by Mark Levin. And it's been a road ever since. Just after that, a great young lady named Katie Abrams stood up to her senator. You may have heard of him, Arlen Specter. He's no longer a senator. And this momentum, this drive, is what has fueled the Tea Party. People willing to stand up to the people in government who are trying to take away their rights, trying to take away their freedom, trying to put back upon us the chains of slavery which we fought so hard to break free from. I'm reminded of my friend, a lady friend I was dating at the time, who seemed to agree with the conservative values that I was talking about, but when the health care bill came up, she preferred Obama. And she talked about how she had an uncle who had gotten sick and got into the hospital and wasn't able to get health care. And I said, you know, nothing against your uncle, but I don't know him, but if I did, I would do everything in my own personal power to help him. But it would be wrong for him to require me to pay for his health care. And I wouldn't want anyone else to pay for my health care in his scenario. She turned to me and she said, but what if you got sick? I said, I pay for it out of my own pocket. But what if you die? And then I looked at her and I said, you know who you're talking to? Do you actually expect me to value life more than freedom? I'm reminded of the movie Roots that I showed my kids last year. And in that story, the slave Kunta Kinte is trying to get away, and his friend Fiddler, played by Louis Gossett, says, you know, you get out there, they catch you, they're gonna tie you down, they may chop your feet off, they may kill you. Kunta looked back at Fiddler and said, well, then I'll be free. He embodied those values that are important for the Tea Party, that are important in the ideals of the Constitution and the Declaration and the spirit of 1776. Those ideals which embody that old Negro hymn, before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave to go home and be free with my Lord. Or you may know better the words of that great Virginian Patrick Henry, who said, is life so dear, or peace so sweet as to be bought at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course other men may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Thank you very much.